Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe, guys. Great to see you. So in today's video, we are going to do, look at this camera work. We're going to be attempting to review Collinite Beadcoat ceramic sealant. What is it? So it's a spray-on paint protection system with SiO2 and graphene. It costs £23.95 for 473 mil. And we'll talk about that because that's really expensive. Some things that come to mind: ceramic sealant. So they are jumping on the ceramic bandwagon. Sorry. Now, we've talked about the ceramic bandwagon before, and I criticised some other brands about 3 years ago for being late to the ceramic bandwagon. Well, Collinite are even later. They're well late with this. So bringing out a ceramic graphene spray don't impress me much. That don't impress me much because I've been around this for a long time, and that in itself is nothing. So why are you reviewing this, John? Well, I have a bit of a soft spot for Collinite. I remember decades ago really getting into their waxes, and I thought Collinite 915 Marque d'Excellence, or Marque de something, Marque d'Exquisite. I thought it was a fantastic wax. It was the first wax that I think I used that really went rock hard after you've put it on, so you needed to be a bit careful with it. But you knew once you buffed it up to that lovely shine, it was going to last a bit longer on the paintwork, and I loved it. I thought it was a great product. They also had the Collinite 845 insulator wax, which is like, belongs in a museum. But it was one of the original kind of products, again, that you put on, solvent kind of emulsion, liquid wax that really went rock hard and had decent durability for this. You know, and at the time that was quite important. Collinite 476S double coat, is it? Again, another wax that goes rock hard. So really good products. They also had some pre-wax cleanser kind of polishes that you could use by hand, you know, that you go on and buff on the paint by hand before the wax went on. And I think that was all their products. Very limited range, okay? And here's my gripe with Collinite. They had so much potential. And they got in early with all these fantastic products. Then over the next decades, you know, onwards, this detailing scene sort of took off and went big, and this huge market of people interested in car cleaning products, and that's what, you know, car maintenance products, that's what Collinite did. And they did absolutely nothing. They must have had their heads buried in the sand. You know, not one person at Collinite said, we haven't got a shampoo, guys. Apologies if they have, you know what I mean. We haven't got a snow foam pre-wash. Well, I don't think we've got a tyre dressing. We haven't got an interior detailer. We haven't got a glass cleaner. We haven't got this. And they did absolutely nothing. They lost interest in detailing and just kept this core range of old school waxes. Up until now, essentially, where they've brought out some spray waxes and some other products, some detailers and all this, and this ceramic bead coat sealant. So I'm a little bit upset with Collinite because I think they could have been something special, but they completely lost interest in car maintenance, and they may well look at that and think that's a disgraceful thing to say. Well, that's what I feel. I follow this car scene, and I could go through all of the products in the genre: spray and rinse products, ceramic shampoos, ranges of cutting compounds, you know, all-in-ones, spray sealants. The list goes on and on. Tar and glue removers, citrus washes. They got nothing. They just got a few waxes and some, you know, paint preparation products. Not good enough. Now, when I see this product being released onto the market, the first thing I want to know is who's formulated this, because Collinite had unique formulations and obviously had some brilliant chemist, you know, a guy that was interested in chemistry that made all these waxes and would have been blending them in his garage. And I love all that. Now, because they've been out of the game so long, and these types of products are much easier to blend. You don't need to heat them up. You just blend them together. They're water miscible materials in a water-based carrier. Maybe sometimes they have some, you know, water miscible solvents, some alcohol solvents or whatever. Very cheap to make these products. water. You don't have to heat them, you don't have to melt waxes, all that sort of stuff. You don't need any special equipment apart from compounding machines to mix them all together, mixers, you know, and silos to store them. So lots of people nowadays, they don't bother making them. They just go to the usual suspects and get them made. So have Collinite gone, I tell you what, let's go and buy in raw materials. Let's buy in some of these siloxanes. Let's buy in some SiO2, fumed silica, graphene dispersions, you know, micronized powders. Let's start blending these together and seeing what we can come up with. Or have they just gone to a blender and said, give us one of your ceramic sprays, mate? That's what I want to know. Now, price-wise, Collinite Beadcoat, $23.95 for 473 millilitres. Creates a price per litre of about £50 and 63 pence. I'm going to be comparing it with Seal and Shine over there, which is a traditional spray on wax with no graphene and no SiO2, but it's hard to beat. It's £10 for 473 ml, which is £21 per litre. So all this new technology is not just double the price of a market-leading sealant, it's more than double. Geon ceramic detailer that does contain SiO2 or something, whatever, ceramic-y. That costs £36.25 per litre. Note, Geon are not a cheap brand. They're not that expensive, but they're not a cheap brand. They're a top-of-the-range brand. So if they're charging £36, that's a converted price per litre of their spray. Why do Collinite think they can charge that price? That's what's going through my head. So much so I went and researched some other ones. Their competition. Autoglim Rapid Ceramic Spray. That's between £50 to £20 for 500 ml. So it costs £30 to £40 per litre. Still cheaper. Considerably cheaper than this. Maguire's Hybrid Ceramic Wax, 23 quid for 768 ml, which is about £30 a litre. Considerably cheaper than this, and Maguire's in the UK are incredibly expensive. So I'm struggling to find a more expensive spray sealant than this on the market. That's my introduction to all of this. You know where I am now. This better be good. It better be bloody good. Right. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to prime an applicator. I've used this with the product already. I've given it a good shake. We'll just prime it with a couple of squirts. And then I believe on the instructions it says to put a couple of sprays per panel. Okay, let's just have a look at these instructions because there's some problems here as well. Directions: shake well before each use. Fine. For best results, only apply product to clean, decontaminated, clayed and or polished if necessary. Good. That's very worthwhile putting that in there. Using a microfiber pad or microfiber towel folded into quarters. Okay. Use a second dry microfiber towel for removal. Okay, so we can apply it via pad or towel. Two different methods, and use a second towel for removal. First off, if by pad, capital letters. First, spray pad twice with product to moisten it. Next, apply 2 to 3 sprays per panel onto a 3x3 panel. Spread evenly, crosshatch, uniform pattern. Immediately remove with dry, clean microfiber towel. Okay, you've already told us that. Yeah? Flip removal towel and change as necessary to avoid streaks. Good. Avoid applying to hot surfaces. After removal, for optimal bond, allow 24 hours cure time before introducing water. Yeah, or go to the website for more info. Why have they got if by pad then? Because they haven't provided instructions for an alternative method. Yeah? There's no if by microfiber or if by pad or if by something else. So again, whoever wrote that instructions didn't proofread it, and it goes out wrong, or goes out with a silly little thing like that on every single label. Well, you're being pedantic, John. I'm always pedantic. Get someone to read your instructions, because I'm an idiot and I spotted that straight away. Okay. Here's all your description. Another cool thing about this product, it can be used on paint, glass, trim and wheels. This can be used on glass, trim, paint. This can be used, the Geon, on all surfaces. So let's just take this round. We've got a primed applicator, we've got a microfiber towel, we've got a clean, polished car here with no contamination. And it says roughly 2 to 3 sprays per 3x3. So on a wing, I'd do 2 sprays. So this has all been shaken. I'll just go spray, spray, okay? Lovely. And I've got a primed applicator. I'd use a bigger pad. I'd use a microfiber block, you know, but whatever. And we'll just cross-hatch this out. And it is quite nice when these water-based products, you know, you want to use a bigger applicator than this. If you just apply them like this, and you get that film, you're almost guaranteed not to have any problems. You know, it's very hard. And if it's going to go wrong, you'll see it on a black car. So now I've got a clean cloth. All I do is just wipe that. And for me, that is really good. Damn. Yeah, it's buffing really nice. Lovely. Okay, I like it. Yeah, I like it. So I like the way that went on and came off really easy, and it's still slightly wet. So let's just go back to our hood, and we'll do 2 spritz, one there, one there. Ooh, got a nice little farty, and then we'll just cross-hatch that up and down the panel. This is a real slow way. This is, you want to do this very quickly, or else it becomes like applying a wax. You know, you want with a spray. The sprays, the liquid's all thin and nice. So I've not double cross-hatched that. Maybe I should. I just don't want to lose you. I'm just going to spin this towel round so I've got a completely fresh side. Nice and clean. And that's just sat on the pan. You can see it's wet as well, and there's a lot of product there. They may say it's just way too much product. I think it's going to be fine. Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice to work with. I thought this would be, well, okay. Sometimes when they work like this and they're really easy to buff, then the durability isn't as good. And sometimes when they're really resinous and they can be a bit of a pain to apply, and then the durability can be good. But maybe we've got a miracle one here where it feels nice and light to buff, and the durability will be good. Guys, that's really nice, that is. That's lovely. Yeah, you're not going to have any problems with that at all. You're not going to have any problems with that. That's so easy to buff. Really, really good. Really streak free. No grippiness. No streak marks. And I've even gone from, you can see where I'm unapplied, okay, to there. You know, I can see where the product is and where it isn't. So I'd need to go and do this side, but it's, Jesus, I mean, it looks better on the side I've applied it to when there's nothing. So it's kind of wetted the panel and darkened the panel a bit. Really good. So I want to put this over all of my panel. No point doing half a panel, is there? So we'll just get, I'm impressed. I can, you know, I was harsh. I was harsh with my little introduction, wasn't I? Always am. But I do like Collinite. What I like about this product is it's not like some white filmy thing that I'm trying to chase. It's not greasy either, this. It's really watery. So it's probably completely a wax-free formula. That'd be interesting. It doesn't feel waxy, but you never know. Could be a tiny bit of wax emulsion in there as well. Who knows? Right, let's get another clean side. Sorry, I was interrupted there, guys. Anyway, the thing I love is, so you can see where I've buffed and where I haven't. It's just that nice little wipe over the top. You can see it, it's done. Again, where I've buffed, where I haven't, look. Just that wipe over. So you haven't got to go like mad on it, really like, you know, buffing the shizzle out of the paintwork. You've just got to pass over it really and just mop up the product. My towel's starting to get a bit wet now, you know, with product. So now it's just getting a little bit more difficult. I could still carry on actually. Yeah. Really good. I've left that a little bit longer on the panel as well. Really nice, actually, guys. So just don't let it dry on the panel and keep flipping your towel. But I found that a really nice product to work with. And I'm not normally, I'm more of a, as I've said before, I'm more of a buff with something like glaze, wipe, leave, don't put anything on. If you want that really good finish in the summer. In the winter, fair enough. But this, I'd put this on in the summer if it's that easy to use, wouldn't have a problem. That's really good. You do have to be careful. I'm just looking down there and I noticed a little bit I missed. So just be careful. You can always go back over and give it a final wipe. And this cloth is now done. It's like that cloth has become a hindrance because it's picked up so much product. If I get a wet bit of the cloth, it will then put a little streak mark in. So yeah, but application, very good. You can't, that's very good. Let's just make some notes. Application, very good. Very slick. Very slick, non-smeary, easy to pick up, right, with a gentle pass, easy pickup. Yes, keep changing towels, like they say. Keep a dry towel just to make sure you're good. Dry towel is important. Very good. Okay, what we're going to do now, guys, is I've applied it to these, but I need to wait 24 hours and then I can do some formal testing. But I've got a good idea that the product is nice to use now, which is really important. How does it stack up and perform with Seal and Shine and this ceramic detailer? Again, it's going to have to do well because it's expensive. But as it stands right now, I'm impressed that it's in with a shout. If it can outbeat the Seal and Shine on durability and beading and slickness and all those things, then you can argue some people will pay the money. Would I pay 50 quid for a litre? Maybe that will last me forever. I have paid it, but I get to do the review, so I can get my money back on the review. You can't when you buy it. Okay, over and out. I'll see you in the next clip. Okay guys, I now have data. I've finished my testing. The data's behind me. What are you looking at, John? Show us. Okay, here it is, guys. So we already know value for money. £50.63 per litre, 1 mark, poor. It's the most expensive. Geon second with £36 a litre, 2 marks. Turtle wax, really good value for, you know, £21 per litre. Very good value for that. So we already know about that. That's going to cost it some marks. Ease of application. Well, here's the interesting thing. I felt it was the best. 3 out of, you know, top, so it gets 3 points. The Geon ceramic, I've always liked how that works. I've always found it's got a slick buff. But it's quite resinous, and I've said that in other videos, and you do need to use small amounts, or if you use it as a drying aid, it gets kind of watered down a bit, so it's okay as that. But the thing with this, the Geon is a quick detailer, and the Collinite is a spray sealant, so really it shouldn't be the easiest to use, but it's like using a quick detailer. You create the film and you buff the film, and it's really light and it's really slick on the buff as well. Even more so than the turtle wax. I find the turtle wax is a doddle to apply and nice, but you do have to be careful again with the turtle wax. It's quite waxy. It is a wax cocktail with siloxane and wax mixed together. It's high on active ingredients and don't use too much of it. But that's the best to use in my opinion, and it's as good a ceramic spray sealant, you know, a water-based ceramic spray sealant to use as I've ever used. And I must have used at least 30 or 40 of them and reviewed them on the channel. Now the slickness test, bizarrely, the turtle wax won that, and I think it did in other videos. So it's got low friction, but if you had to ask me which ones feel the least slick, it would be, feel the most slick, it would be the Geon ceramic detailer and the Beadcoat. They feel slidier to me, but the tilt test proves otherwise. I couldn't separate the Geon and the Collinite. I'd tilt it one way and one would win. I'd do it again, the other one would win. So they're about the same. But the turtle wax picked up the same marks, the other one's got 2. But it is a slick product and a slick buff. But only 2 marks there. Hydrophobics, well, it claims, it doesn't give you that like claim of ultra hydrophobic or super hydrophobic. I think it just says great hydrophobics or something like that, whatever. It's about as beady as it gets. right up there. Maybe a 9 out of 10 overall on beads, and there's a handful of products that will bead more than it. It's extremely hydrophobic, really impressive if you like beads. Really cool. The Geon was second on that front. The Geon is a beady product. I have to say that Geon bottle is probably now over 2 years old, and I remember it being more beady than that when I reviewed it ages ago. So maybe it's, you know, past its best, but it's still quite hydrophobic with Geon. The turtle wax is average hydrophobicity. We already know about that. It's got some it's okay, but it's no cigar. Now here's the thing: the durability test. Geon claims 6 weeks, that claims 6 months plus, that claims 6 months. That has the lowest durability. It was the most affected by the chemical resistance. As we'd expect, it only claims 6 weeks. Decent for a detail spray though, pretty decent. Now, the turtle wax is a durability monster under chemical testing. It just seems to take a hammering, and it did in this test as well. It took a hammering. I've had to leave the Surfex HD on there for 3 hits, and the third hit I've just left it on there and just kept it moist, you know, going back over it with a wet detail factory brush with more surfactant in it. I just left it on there, and it must have been on there for at least 2.5 hours, that third hit alone, because I just wanted to really try and smack him down. And after that, I would say that the Collinite has been the least affected. It is still rapidly hydrophobic. That's slowing down quite considerably now. Again, it works in its favour that it's slightly more hydrophobic because it's going to demonstrate its durability better. But that chemical resistance on the Collinite is very, very impressive. It is the newer product as well. I think I've had the turtle wax for about a year, but the turtle wax is, you know, should be fine. But yeah, very impressive, that. Gloss ratings, again, it's all good news. The turtle wax and the Geon, I think, have both shown me historically that they're very glossy products, and they're virtually identical. 86.8 for the turtle wax, 86.7 for the Geon, virtually the same, but the Collinite was consistently higher with an average of 89.4, so it also looks good. If we total up the marks, the Geon detailer got 10, the turtle wax non-ceramic, you know, spray wax got 12, and the Collinite got 15. So it's outperformed my 2 favourite products that I keep on the shelf. As I've said before, I've reviewed 40 or so ceramic detailers, and I have the Geon because it's my favourite. I've looked at millions of spray sealants, like, you know, and I don't think any of them can outperform this American version of Seal and Shine for whatever it costs, £9. It really does what I want. I can spray it on the car and it's shiny and it lasts. But this product has outperformed it. And you know me, I do lots of reviews and I'm very rarely really disappointed, but lately we've had a lot of sealants and liquid waxes and things on the channel where they've just been acceptable, and they've had some good points and some bad, but ultimately they're not for me and they've gone, they're not on my shelves. That's been going on for a few years now. This is the first time that I've seen a stonker come up. So this Collinite Beadcoat ceramic sealant for me is a stonker. It looks like the real deal, that it's a really good, slick, modern SO2 graphene paint protectant, really durable, really beady, but it goes on like a detail spray, it really does. So nice to apply. Normally, another thing you heard me say, normally there's a compromise with durability, that the application can be a little bit more tricky. These products can go resinous, and if you overload them, they can be a nightmare to buff and all that, but this is just like a detailer. So I'm going to just make a bold statement that for me, this Beadcoat, this Collinite Beadcoat ceramic sealant is a 5-star product, and you should go and try it. You really should. That lot speak for itself. There's one thing there, one caveat to that. If you are really price conscious and you're just not having it because you're of the opinion that there's loads of good quality sealants out there, liquid sealant, spray wax, ceramic sprays type products for less money, and you've got one you're happy with, then don't go and try this, because I'm a big believer in value, and I don't like that price per litre. It does upset me a little bit. But I talked about that at the start of the video, and I said, this better be good. And it really was. So Collinite are a brand I hold in high regard, and my main gripe with them is lack of interest with products over the years. You know, I want them to be active because I like them as a brand. They're a bit like Built Hamber, a bit like the American version of Built Hamber, but without the surfactant knowledge that Built Hamber have got, you know, but they're very good with these. This is worthy of the Collinite name, and I rate their waxes very highly. So I was worried this was going to be just a generic product that, you know, they're all quite good, these ceramic spray sealants, and this was just another one. Yeah, it's quite good, I like it, yeah, but it's 50 quid for a litre, I'm not going to buy it, not going to recommend it. No, it's stonking. If you're into detailing products, go and buy it. Just spend the money, 23 quid for half a mil. It will last you a fair old amount of time, but I think you're going to love it because your car is going to be flicking off the water like crazy. Your application is going to be amazing, and you're just going to be like, well, that was easy. And that was nice, and my paintwork's all slick, and it's looking good. There's no films on my paintwork. There's no opaqueness. When you get the real sun on it, the strong summer sun, there's no like, you can't see it. You know, the product really is, just makes your car look better, feel better, and put a protective layer on it. Go and buy this. 5-star product. I got it from Amazon. I'll be pinging Imran and saying, Imran, I would stock this if I was you because it's very good, but that might take a few months or whatever. Very good. I hope Collinite can get the UK price down a little bit. I do understand that there's cost implications, especially with a brand that aren't as big as the UK, so they don't have like a UK centre where they can distribute from, bring over bulk. So they're just shipping over, and there's very high import costs and all that. So there can be a little bit of a cost. So I do have a bit of sympathy for that. But then I've compared them to Turtle Wax, which are an American brand, Geon, which are a South Korean brand, and they've solved those problems by having kind of UK-based companies, haven't they? You've got Turtle Wax UK, Geon UK, that kind of do all of that. So I think there's ways of getting around that, Maguire's UK and all that sort of stuff. So they, you know, you need to think about that, because if you're uncompetitive on price, it can affect your chance of going viral. This product, like Beadcoat, it's much more the real deal than kind of Beadmaker was. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not a Beadmaker basher. Beadmaker's a great product, and it was quite cheap, but it put down a slick layer of something on your car that washed off almost immediately and didn't really bead. But it looked good and it was very slick, and we all loved it. But this really lives up to its product claims. I think it will deliver 6 months, although in real world terms you might not see that, but I think it's fair to put a 6-month claim on it. From what I've seen of all of this, it doesn't make a big deal about the SiO2 and the graphene, but if you're into your technology, it's using all the latest technology. The SiO2 is there for slickness and, you know, whatever. But the graphene's there for whatever, slickness and whatever, for a tighter web of protection. This is the real deal. Go and buy it. Top class product. Well done. Congratulations. You know me, I don't get the gladioli out that often and go mad, but when I do, you know it's going to be good. Sorry guys, get your wallets out. You're going to be busting out another 23 quid. I know your hands are going to be like, damn it, but just click on that basket, put it in there, and then click on buy. You will not regret it. Adios, over and out. Don't forget to subscribe. Have I missed anything? No, I've done it all. Laters, Doug.